Hi, my name is Catherine, and I am what is called an orientation and mobility specialist. What I do is I work with individuals who are blind or visually impaired, and I teach them how to travel utilizing the long white cane. Probably you've seen it. It is literally a long cane that is either all white or white with red on the bottom. Sometimes you see them white with red in the middle. These canes are used by individuals who are blind. And what I want to do today is talk to the people who are sighted. With my job, I am out in the public every day, probably not as much now during COVID as we would all like, but out there with clients every day working on the travel skills that they need to be able to safely get to where they want to go. And I encounter every day sighted people who don't know how to react to the long white cane, don't know how to react to somebody who's blind, don't know what to do. I get asked lots of questions and I get lots of comments, some of them very positive and very kind, some of them not so kind. And so what I want to do is give some education to individuals that are sighted. So I am planning to make several videos between 5 to 10 minutes long and just addressing a lot of the questions that I get as an instructor. So I'm speaking to you as somebody whose job it is to teach all the skills that a lot of people don't know somebody who is blind can acquire. And so I'm talking from my perspective. Now, as a child, I was legally blind. I no longer am. So I have a unique perspective of knowing a certain amount, because I was younger when I was blind, of what that's like from my client side, and also understanding, a sighted person maybe who doesn't understand what goes into travel for somebody who's blind. And by the way, I'm just addressing traveling and blindness in general, but there's a lot of professionals in my field of blind rehab that teach everything. I teach travel. We have visual rehab therapists who teach all of your daily living skills. We have assistive technology experts who teach all the computers and the software and the hardware that's out there to help individuals who are blind. And we have Braille instructors. We have teachers for the visually impaired in the schools. It's a huge field that unfortunately not a lot of people know about. So maybe I'll introduce you to a new field and possibly a new career. But I really want to focus this video largely on discussing what is blindness. So the biggest misconception that I see and hear about blindness is, well, if you can see, then you must not be blind. And that's not true. So there is quite a range of vision. And I like to compare it to a piano keyboard. So you have all the black and white keys on the piano keyboard. And I say, your average sighted person sees from the highest key to middle C. That's pretty much everybody out there who drives a car, who walks around, and they're not worrying about tripping or bumping into something. From middle C to the lowest key, that's the range of blindness. All those keys, all those combinations of keys between middle C and your lowest key is that range of blindness. It's a range, it's a spectrum. And just because you might be able to see light, or you might be able to see objects or people or movement, or maybe you only see half of everything, or you only have your central vision. A lot of people say you shouldn't be using a cane because you can see something. And no, that is not true. In fact, there has been studies, and the most recent study I have seen is that approximately, and I'm saying approximately, 90% of individuals who are blind have some form of what we call functional vision. Only approximately 10% of people who are blind have what we call no light perception, meaning they don't even see light. It's really only 10% of the blind population. So to understand that the blindness is not black or white, it really isn't. It is a really big gray spectrum. And so if you see somebody using a cane and using a phone, this is something that I saw on Facebook recently that just was really upsetting because somebody was making it into a joke. And it showed a young woman with a long white cane in her hand and an iPhone or some kind of smartphone. I'm not sure if it was iPhone or not. In her other hand, and she was looking down on the iPhone or the phone. And the caption was, "Tell me when you see it." And there were so many comments saying, "Oh, she's not really blind because she's looking at a phone." And I'm sitting there going, yes, awesome. Using the cane and using technology side by side. That's exactly what you do. And I had to calm myself down a little bit because I'm very passionate about what I do. I love what I do. So it's very frustrating when I see comments being made where people they're not getting it. They don't understand. And so the big first thing that I want you to understand is that blindness is a range. That you have so many different eye conditions that cause blindness. So let me give you the legal definition of blindness. There are two of them. Most people don't know that. They think there's just one. There's two legal definitions for blindness. The first one being that your vision is 20/200 or worse in your best corrected eye, meaning with glasses if they help. Or your vision is, you have a 20-degree field of vision or less in your best eye. So it's either your acuities are greatly decreased or your peripheral, everything you see around you, is greatly decreased. So there's two ways that you can go blind, and sometimes people hit it on both scores. They have reduced acuities and reduced peripheral fields. So it is absolutely possible to have 20/20 central vision, but it's like you're looking through a straw. Well, that's not going to help you. Yeah, your straight ahead vision is perfect. It's great. You're going to catch everything really far out in front of you. You're going to catch nothing directly in front of you because that lower peripheral, the side peripheral, it's gone. And so what can a white cane do? The white cane is going to catch those things that you don't catch in that small little hole of vision that you have in your central vision. And it's not always 20/20. That can also be reduced. So the white cane is actually there to help you find steps, small objects that are in your way, poles that you miss off to the side. It's there to give you information. Or let's say you have another eye. So the one eye disease that I just described is called retinitis pigmentosa. There is another one that's a lot more common, especially for our aging population, and it's called macular degeneration. And basically what that is your central vision starts to go. It starts getting really blurry and blotchy, and you can't, unless you look out the side of your eye a lot of the time, you don't have any clear vision there. And so what can a cane do there? Well, first of all, you don't have to be constantly moving your head around trying to find that clear spot. If there is a clear spot of vision in your periphery, you can use that cane so you're not straining your eyes trying to figure out what is in front of me. I see a shape, but I don't know what it is. I see a person, but I don't know who it is. I see something, but my depth perception has been affected, and I'm not sure how far away I am from that object. Or my personal favorite, glass doors. They were the bane of my existence as a child. The cane is going to find that before your face does or your feet do. So yeah, you can see these blurred objects in front of you, but you're not sure what they are. So yes, do you have functional vision? Can you tell that there's an object in front of you? Yeah. Do you know how far away it is from you? No. Do you know if it's a person or an object? Not always, no. So there is a whole bunch of eye conditions that start to take away vision, and it can be from birth, which is what we call congenitive eye loss. I cannot say the word. It'll come again. Or you lose vision, and that's called adventitious. So the bigger word is harder for me to say. And so you can either have vision loss from birth or you can acquire vision loss. And both those instances, the people in my field in blind rehabilitation, we're here to help you to step in and say, okay, you know what? Maybe the doctor can't fix it and we can't fix your vision, but what we can do is give you all the tools. So when you're walking down the street and you can see these blurry motions going by, or you're walking, and those are cars, by the way, on the street, or you're walking down the street and you see a car way out, but it comes up to you, you don't see it. So what we do is we teach skills using the long white cane. We teach listening skills. It's a whole set of techniques that we teach using the long white cane. And yes, it is possible to travel and utilize technology as well. So the cane itself is a piece of technology. It's low tech. But we have these wonderful things called smartphones that can speak to us and talk to us and say, you know what? I've lost my orientation. Siri, what street am I on? I forgot where I am. I haven't been paying attention to where I'm at. And guess what? The phone can tell you where you're at. There are apps on the phone that can connect you to volunteers. And you can say, hey, you know what? Am I near? Can I pan my phone around and can you tell me is the drugstore nearby or something, or a grocery store or something? And of course you're going to stop and you're going to pan your phone around. That person can say, oh yeah, it's off to your right. So there's free apps for volunteers who do that called Be My Eyes. There are paid apps where trained volunteers can help you with that called IRA. And there's just a lot of technology out there. So if you see somebody with a long white cane and a smartphone in their hand, what they're doing is they're utilizing all the technology that is at their fingertips to help them get to where they need to go. So I want to address one more thing, because now we're in the time of COVID and we are in the time of social distancing. And what that means for somebody who is blind is a headache. It really is. Now, we as instructors are working really hard to try to teach our clients some techniques to help them at least guess if they're 6 feet away. Some instructors try to teach some sounds, some echolocation sounds to try to learn, this is what it could sound like when someone's 6 feet away. Not everybody's able to do echolocation. So for those who don't, we try to teach, with the long white cane, strategies for being able to keep 6 feet in front of you. For dog guide users, this is especially difficult because dog guides are taught to go around obstacles, but they're not taught to go around obstacles 6 feet away from a person. So if they see a person standing next to a wall and that person has enough space for them to fit themselves and their handlers in that space, even though it's not 6 feet away from that person, the dog's going to take them through that space. So what does this mean? How can a sighted person be more aware of this? So first of all, if you see somebody with a long white cane, or you see somebody with a dog guide in a proper harness, and this is going to be a whole nother video where I'm going to talk about dog guides and maybe even get some dog guide users to come out and help me out with this. There's a very, very particular harness that goes with a dog guide. It's very recognizable. And I'll try to get one and show it to you guys in another video. But regardless, okay, so you see someone with a long white cane and you see someone with a dog. The best thing that you can do is say, hey there, how are ya? I'm off to your right, I'm off to your left. And you give them the 6 feet because you can see and you can judge 6 feet. If you can't judge approximately 6 feet and you have depth perception problems, then give a wider berth. That's fine. I understand depth perception problems, trust me. But give them the space and give them some kind of audible clue that they're walking towards somebody, because maybe they have no light perception or just light perception and they can't see shapes. Maybe they can see shapes, but there's lots of shapes around them, so they can't differentiate the different shapes. Maybe they know it's a person, but they have no depth perception. So they can see, hey, this is a person coming towards me, and they're going to try to move out of your way if they can identify you as a person moving towards them. But they don't have the depth perception to know if maybe am I 6 feet away? Am I less than 6 feet away? So make it a little bit easier. Here's what not to do as a sighted person. Don't jump in the street, because you could get hit by a car and that would not be good. And it's really not necessary, especially if you have a sidewalk that's maybe 5 or 8 feet wide or longer. And I've seen this. I've seen people go jump in the street when really all they had to do was take 2 steps to one side, stay on the sidewalk, and they come nowhere near the cane or the dog, and they jump in the street. I literally saw a person swing on a tree branch around somebody to get around them. And I'm not sure why. Maybe they just felt very carefree. I don't know. But you don't have to be dramatic. It's really unnecessary. Give them a greeting. Say hello. Because in saying hello and saying, hey, I'm off to your right, or excuse me, I'm off to your left, you're giving them a sound clue. So they're like, oh, wow, this person. Maybe they don't even know that you're talking to them. But that's okay, because you're giving them a sound clue. And you're telling them, even just by your voice, this person's directly in front of me. Oh, there's someone right in front of me. Oh, there's someone off to my right. I'm going to move off to my left. And that's a huge help. And then just give them the 6 feet. If you're in a line, one of the skills that we teach is if you extend your arm and extend your cane, you should get close to 6 feet in front of you. Now that extension is not a big wide circle. You are not the center of a compass when you have a cane. It's in front of and off to your right, off to your left, shoulder to shoulder plus couple of inches. That's what we call a cane arc. That's the space that the cane clears. If you're standing in line and you feel a little bump on the back of your foot and you look down and there's a cane tip there, the cane tip is telling that person who's using it, hey, something's here. And it's soft. So it's either going to be a person or a couch, because they feel the same. And then they're going to think, well, you know what? I don't know why a couch would be in line at Home Depot, so I'm going to go with person. And they're going to know that that's where the person is in the line in front of them. It's a little touch of a cane. You don't need to jerk your foot away. You don't need to jump in the air. These are all things that I have seen. And I've not been in the field as long as some, so I'm sure I haven't seen it all. Just say hi. If you want to assist somebody who has a cane or a dog, the best thing you can do is, first of all, don't touch them, especially now in the time of COVID. But even if we weren't in COVID, you don't really want to go up to a stranger and touch them. You can say, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. Can I offer you any assistance? And the answer will be one of two. You got a 50-50 chance here. It'll either be, yes, thank you, and then allow them to tell you what they need. Or it will be, oh, no, thank you, I'm fine. Those are the only two options there, okay? And if they say, no, thank you, that means they have the skills, they want to do this independently, they're able to do this independently, and they're just fine. Even if you think they're not, they are. If they say yes, wait, don't touch them. Because the worst thing that you can do is grab somebody who cannot see and then start pushing them. How would you feel if a stranger came up to you and grabbed you and then started pushing you? It doesn't work. So if they say, yes, I could use some assistance, your next word is how. And then the individual will tell you how you may assist them. And they'll show you if they would like some human guide or sighted guide. they'll tell you what is necessary, and what they'll do is they'll hold on to your elbow and you will guide them. So I'll go into even more of this in other videos, but this is really what I wanted to touch on was, what is blindness? What is that definition of blindness? Can you be blind and still see something? Yep, you can, and you're not faking it. And how can you help out in this time of social distancing during COVID? And it's really about just making yourself heard, being pleasant, and if you want to offer assistance and they say no thank you, then that's the end of it. If they say yes, then please let them tell you how you can be of assistance to them. Thank you so much for your time. Like I said, I'm going to be making a lot more videos. At least I'm going to go with another 8 or 10 more on different topics that have come up. Every time I talk to people in the field who work in the field like I do, or individuals that have taken advantage of our services and that we have been working with, and I say, you know, what would you like somebody who's sighted to know? Oh, we've come up with lots of topics, things that I see when I'm out working with clients, when I'm able to, things that I wish I could address. That's what I want to try to address, and just give a little bit of education on blindness. So please feel free to share this video. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. If you know me, contact me. If you know somebody who knows me, contact me. I love talking about what I do. I love what I do. So of course, I want to share it, and I want to share my knowledge. So everybody have a wonderful time this weekend. I'm making this on a Friday night, or whenever you watch this. I hope you're having a really good day. I hope your stress levels are going down, and I hope you learned something new from this video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.